Hey guys, welcome back to the final week, final team builder for the final week, I guess, of regular season of the PBO. This week, we are taking on the Norwalk Noiverns. And they got an interesting team, you know what I'm saying? Which you can see below me. Okay, I'm not muted, nice. And with that, let's get into it. So, their team, they're rocking a respectable, proud member of the Wichita Weaviles reigning champion roster from last season, Enam-I. We gotta face our brother, you know what I'm saying? Brother in arms, you know. It's gonna be a tough one, but we gotta play him. Then they got Bishop, Gudra, Masquerade, a Lowland Dog Trio, Fletchender, Electro Hisuian, Barraskewda, Dracologue, Luminion, and Glamora. For the Terra captains, they decided on Hisuian Electrode, and they're rocking the Electric, Ice, and Fairy potential Terra types. Alrighty, so they got a pretty good team, you know what I'm saying? Or they have a some strong members. You know, Bishop always, you know, old reliable in the past previous gens. Not much has changed now, except that I can go to fucking Eviolite, so has a free bulk for minimal reason. That's my Discord exposed. Now you can look at the PBO chat. I don't care. I mean, I do care, but we're chilling. We're chilling. Sorry. Yep. So that's that. Then they got Gudra, good split F tank. They got a little sticky web action with Masquerade. A little Dog Trio, I'm not gonna lie, is kind of not good. Flame body shenanigans with Fletchender. And then we got the Hisuian Electro, which I think is very good. Barraskewda, just annoying water spam, flip turn cringe. Dracologue, I don't think that one's coming. I don't even know. We got Luminion as well, which apparently gets defog, which I didn't actually know. And Glamora. And if you guys know anything about me, Glamora's, I can't decide. It's probably, for sure, top 3 most hated new mons. This one is just annoying. It gets all the hazards up, and then it spins, but its spin poisons you, and has good coverage and 130 special attack. Like, this mon is just so irritating to play against. I hate it. So anyway, with that being said, let's talk about the roster we're bringing in. So, first things first, we got Upchuck, the return of the Quilladin, you know what I'm saying? This week, we're rocking Eviolite Bulletproof, not very big surprise. We have the max HP, 248 defense, 208 careful nature action, you know what I'm saying? And then we got the 208 spit F, sorry, with the careful nature, you know? And this guy's pretty good, you know. I wanted him in spikes against his team because, as you guys can see, he doesn't actually have a spinner. He does have a spinner. Sorry, it's Glamora. But Glamora, the plan is to take Glamora out real quick, like no cap. That guy got to go. Also, a lot of his mons are grounded, with the exception of Masquerade, Enam-I, and Fletchender. So, you know, Gudra taking any kind of spikes chip damage is really good. Hisuian Electrode is kind of hard for us to revenge kill, so any passive damage we rack up on the guy is very strong. Should be very potent, you know what I'm saying? So that kind of idea. And that applies to Barraskewda as well, because our speed tiers this season are not the best. So spikes are just good like that. Then we got Leech Seed, which lets us be a little bit of a nuisance to things like Hisuian Electrode once it terras. It's also lets us kind of just again do a bunch of passive chip damage, and should bait like Gudra in if it has Sap Zipper. Then we can super feign it, you know what I'm saying? So we can get half down there. And then we got Synthesis because, you know, sustain is sustain. He's not rocking any weather manipulation, if you want to call it that, no weather setters. So we should not be too affected by that. Now when we look at the EV spread, this EV spread is pretty, I don't want to say specific, but it does some things intentionally, as you can imagine. So, first things first is, let me make sure I'm not going to be late to the shit. Okay. First things first is, this is enough defense for us to take a banded close combat. So, it lets us take 3 banded close combat. So we don't get 2 KO'd by banded CC from Barraskewda, which is a big deal because if you've been Barraskewda, this is obviously water resist. Well, I guess I would say consistent water resist. So, it's nice to switch into that. And then I put the rest in Spadef with Inviolate, you know, nice bulky boy, you know what I'm saying? And this lets us take on stuff like Enam-I, which sounds really insane. Oh my goodness, Enam-I is like kind of broken, which I don't think it is, but it's very strong. The thing about Enam-I is if it is scarf, boots, anything like this, you know, expert belt, like this thing can't kill me. Because of bulletproof, Sludge Bomb does not hit me super effectively, right? I'm immune to it. So that's its highest base power move that could actually do damage to me. Because it's not like I can Terra Fly or something like this, right? Mystical Fire is just it's such a weak move, right? Piss weak move. We saw it last season when I used it a lot. Like base 75 is not strong. So with enough bulk and with enough bulk and even Inviolate, we can kind of shrug those off. Scarf Moonblast does like I want to say 33%, 34%. Like it's not great, but again, we have Synthesis. Let's just get some information, try to play around that kind of thing. If it's specs, it is a 2 KO, but that's okay. We have another mon to check in areas like this. If it's physical, we can like seed it. Like if it's substitute, we can substitute. If it's superpower, we can seed, and then we can like super fan into Synthesis stall. We have a lot of support as such. Superfan in general is very strong. Not a lot of his members have a lot of recovery moves, right? Mostly Fletchender with Roost. Maybe some Leech Seed shenanigans with a little Hisuian Electrode, but again, we obviously wall that because we're a grass type. Also, because of our pure grass typing, we take on Hisuian Electrode very effectively with the exception of Terra Ice. Terra Ice is Terra Ice, like it's going to be effective against us. If it's specs, it gets a little scary when it comes to calcs. If it's not specs, we eat that shit pretty comfortably. Then we can Superfan, be more of a nuisance and navigate that. So in general, more of a Spadef wall this week. Spikes, Leech Seed, all that good support moves. Next up, we got Norwalk Noiverns, and that will be Noibit. We got too many noise. Anyway, sorry. So Noibit's back. I know I'm a big hater of the guy, but I'm here. Well, he's here for a couple of reasons. So one, it is a water immunity with Storm Drain. So that's very nice for flip turn and maybe choice Barraskewda action. Second of all, I really wanted an anti-lead or a mon that can like actually pressure Glamora on lead, because if you just lead Suicide League Glamora and then maybe tries to go into something like a Bishop, it could be an issue. Or Hazards plus Enam-I as well, right? So we'll spin here. And so I bought this guy because basically the idea is that we're going to spin on them, make sure we can always keep the hazards away. We obviously live any one move from Glamora because of a naturally decent Spadef at 95. We're going to spin, and then we have Surf, super effective, knock that bitch out, knock that bitch to a sash, it is what it is. We can Nasty Plot if it gets into like toxic turns and like other non-interactive actions, so that's nice for pressure. And then we also have Draco Media, because the only member on his team that wants to actually take Draco Media comfortably is an Amorous, and I guess technically Bishop, but any damage on Bishop is good, in my opinion. And then we got a Jetpack, so if we just Draco Media, you know, get a decent chunk out, 120 special attack, 130 base power move out, kind of vibe stab, a Jetpack out, go into one of them, get initiative, do something like this. We don't really have another item I wanted to run of this, mostly because, I know I'm talking really fast, I'm trying to like condense it so we can skedaddle over to the battle. That rhymed. Anyway, we get the idea though, right? Like, as an anti-lead, mostly for Glamora, nice water immunity. Stabs are pretty often to switch into. Obviously, AV Gudra can do it, but if we Nasty Plot on the Gudra switch, for example, if we have that option, like, I can knock it out after kind of vibe. So it's more of an anti-lead. I'll probably lead it. If I see Glamora, I'll probably just lead it 100% of the time. It does a lot of damage to a lot of things. It also helps us navigate sticky webs because it's a spinner. So it is what it is. Next up, we got the OG. The OG, he's back. Yes, sir. Bro's putting in mad work when I vet him, so it feels good. We're rocking Life Orb, Sheer Force, very easy. Body Slam, Close Combat, Rock Slide, and Trailblaze. Max Attack, Jolly Nature, Rust in Defense. Defense, let's just take like Aqua Jets and from Barraskewda better, and like Sucker better from Bishop kind of vibe. Just in general, it takes things better. It is what it is. Anyway, so Body Slam hits his whole team pretty hard. His only ghost type is Dracloak. I don't know if he'll win it. I think Dracloak is pretty dead against stuff like Sylveon, Iron Treads, and what is it called, Quilladin. So I don't really think it's that big of a deal if he brings it. Close combat lets us hit Bishop, one-shot that thing 100% of the time, as well as lets us hit stuff like a Alolan Dugtrio, which is a steel type, you know what I'm saying? So just, right, stuff like that's very nice. Rock Slide lets us hit Fletchinder if he brings like a Flame Body or Violite Fletchinder. This lets us handle that reasonably well, so we don't have to always risk getting burned by Flame Body. And we have Trailblaze. Trailblaze is kind of just a random move I put on there. Yes, Tauros has a whole slew of moves we can run, but I don't feel like something like Earthquake plus close combat gives us enough variation in coverage. I don't think Zen Headbutt really matters because we can't flinch anything because of sheer force. And so I'd rather just run Trailblaze. If I get the +1 speed, this thing can kind of run a complete train on his team. Right, Rock Slide obviously is going to punish an Enam-I, kill Masquerain. Same with Fletchinder. If it's Terra Ice, Sui Electro, we can do the same thing. If we get the Trailblaze, we're also +1 speed against stuff like Barraskewda. So that's kind of the idea there. Overall, just a really nice breaker. Next up, we got Sailor with a little bit of alteration to our standard Leftovers Wish Protect set. Obviously, Pixelate, Hyper Voice, yada yada yada. Our last move is Yawn, mostly because Sailor's job this week is to really handle an Enam-I. Be like a one-stop shop to at least pivot and try to interact with an Enam-I. I don't know about countering because an Enam-I can sometimes get out of hand, but we should have some answers. So 1, Hyper Voice goes through sub, so if he's like sub CM, we can always do some kind of damage. We also have one final fail-safe if some shenanigans like that happens. So anyway, we're rocking the 196 in defense, 60 in speed F with the Calm Nature, max HP spread. This defense lets us take Iron Heads from physical Enam-I, like wow, pretty wow. Obviously, if he gets like superpower boosts and he's like expert belt or something, like it can get a little shisty, but we should almost always be able to live 1 unless if it's Omega out of control. But honestly, we saw it last season, especially in finals. Shameless plug, go watch that video. If an Enam-I gets out of hand or gets too ahead, like that thing's gonna do some things, you know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna do some damage. So, and then we have, so it is what it is. Then we have the 60 speed F plus the Calm Nature. This lets us actually be able to check Specs Moonblast from Enam-I, because Enam-I does have to be a speed boosting nature this week because it speed ties with Iron Treads, which we knew from last season. That was a shebang of a video, shebang of an experience to play. So it does speed tie, so he kind of has to be max speed. So if he's like timid, max special attack, Specs Moonblast, with Leftovers and Protect and all that good stuff, I'll be able to live 3. So I'll be able to basically live 2, get a Wish, Protect, Leftovers kicks in, Ooga Booga, like we come up through the ranks, you know what I'm saying? We get to heal up, so. It's pretty hard. It's always hard to switch into Specs in Enam-I. It doesn't matter if it's in draft, if it's on the ladder, unless if you have like Glow King Galar, but then it's like, oh, Terra Ground, and then it one-shots you anyway, so. It doesn't really one-shot you, but it does a lot of damage. But you get the idea. It's very hard to switch into this, then if it's Specs. So Sylveon lets us actually pivot in on that. This is why it's so crucial for us to spin and make sure we get hazards off the field, because a lot of these calcs get thrown off if he has hazards. So we need to spin. I pray to God Dracloak does not come. I'm pretty sure it should not come, in my biased opinion. So, there's that guy. Pretty good. And our last slot is Yawn, because Yawn is going to help us deal with Superpower, Iron Head, Play Rough, like physical Enam-I. Or if it's just Calm Mind Raw or something without sub, then I want to be able to immediately like put that thing on a timer almost, like, you know, disrupt that game plan. Also, I don't think Baton Pass is that useful this week, because every time I come in, there's a lot of, like, I don't feel like, oh, I gotta get initiative, you know, they're gonna switch out on me. If I'm in, I'm either clicking Hyper Voice, which does 30 to like 50% at whatever mon comes in, you know, like it's just good chip, or I'm clicking like Yawn, Wish, this kind of thing. So that's kind of how I see it. I don't feel like I need Baton Pass this week. It's gonna be much more of a Yawn anti-setup tool. Then we have, I guess, our second breaker. We have the Boulder. Yes, it's him. We're rocking Boost Energy this week. Finally, last week of the regular season, we finally get to use Boost Energy. Earthquake, Heavy Slam, Rapid Spin, an Ice Spinner. Max attack, max speed Jolly. Again, we have to speed tie the Enam-I. It is what it is. So Booster Energy lets us speed tie Scarf and Enam-I, and it lets us always outspeed Specs and Enam-I, which is very good. Also, I want to use this more as a Scarfer, which is weird because I don't have Scarf, but I think obviously Booster is better than Scarf in this situation, obviously, because that's me change moves. And we are running double Rapid Spin. Double Rapid Spin is for a couple things. So one, we have to make sure hazards get off. I do not want to deal with that shenanigans. Facto, jacto. You know what I'm saying? Gotta get that shit out of there. And then Earthquake, Heavy Slam, and Ice Spinner is just flat good coverage. It doesn't have to be Ice Spinner, but I think Ice Spinner is just nice in general. Earthquake does so much damage to so many things on his team. Actually, maybe we don't need Ice Spinner. Hot take. Ice Spinner is specifically for Goodra, but I think I would rather just run... I would rather just run Stone Edge, actually, for Fletchinder, if it's there. Anyway, the point is that Earthquake and Heavy Slam basically destroy his team, respectfully. And then Stone Edge will hit Fletchinder, if that is the mon that's left over. The nice thing about the Boulder here is that between Earthquake and Heavy Slam, we can always hit Hisuian Electrode. Except for if it doesn't tear us super effectively, so that's nice. It also soft checks that kind of thing, soft checks Enam-I. That's kind of the vibe. It's 4 attacks, but it's really 3 attacks with Rapid Spin if we need it, Booster to boost our speed, so we always outspeed. And then finally, we have our Haxers, Kiara. I always fuck it up anyway. It's been 7 weeks. Anyway, this week we're rocking Protective Pads Unnerve. Oh, we got EVs to put in that. Put that bitch in. Put that bitch in fucking. Yeah, put that bitch in there. Put that bitch on steel too. Okay, see? Live editing. Pog. So, Protective Pads Unnerve. Dragon Claw, Rock Slide, Brick Break, and Dragon Dance. 68 HP that you just let me put in. Hehe XD. And then Max Attack, Jolly Nature, 188 Speed. So this lets us outspeed everything on his team that we possibly can while maximizing bulk. And then we also have Max Attack, because Max Attack is good on this mon, obviously. So this week, Dragon Claw, Rock Slide, Brick Break. So. Basically, at +1, this mon does a lot of damage to a lot of things. At +2, we kill everything. So, that's basically all you need to know. Not gonna lie. Dragon Claw at +1 goobs his whole team. It just kills it all. It is very hard for him to switch into. That's all you really need to know. Rock Slide is here so we can actually hit Enam-I and Fletchinder together. Maybe even Masquerain if he keeps Masquerain around for like Intimidate shenanigans. You know what I'm saying? Obviously we can always flinch, but that's not really why it's there. And the Brick Break is here to hit Bishop, a Alolan Doug Trio. Maybe a Terra Ice on something like a Hisuian Electrode, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of the vibe. So it's very that easy. We have Protective Pads specifically because I don't want to hit Goodra, and if it's gooey, I don't want my speed to be lowered, you know what I'm saying? And if I'm Terra Steel, I can kind of set up in Goodra's face, right? Like DD once, blah 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 blah, and then it comes in, and then I Dragon Claw, and then it takes some damage. You know what I'm saying? So between Terra Steel and Protective Pads, it kind of makes Goodra a slight liability, because I don't really feel like Earthquake Goodra specifically is super good against my team. Could be Flamethrower, I guess, but we should be able to live 1 at least. It also lets us be fearless in clicking Dragon Claw when it comes to things like Flame Body on Fletchinder, for example. And then we can follow it up with a Rock Slide. That's kind of the contact move specifically. I did look it up. I did do some research. Toxic Debris does still proc, I believe, if you have Protective Pads. So it is what it is. That's the team for this week. Should be pretty exciting. I'll see you guys in the next video. See you. Bye.